BehindTheMaskPresents.com here with week number 3 of our seasonal Walking Dead podcast, here to discuss the third episode, Isolation. The big revelation of this episode is who burned the bodies. And River, I think you called it last time.
I think I said Carol, yeah. And you guys, I mean, I got shunned, but looks like I'm right, so I'll pat me on the back for that.
And the thing is I'm still in denial because I'm cool with Carol, but like I wanted it to be Carl.
Why?
I wanted Carl because I want that kid to die.
Dude, I like him this year.
No, I hate him. I've always hated him.
Really?
I wanted him dead. Yes, I've always hated him. He's
back to being a little brat, similar to kind of how Andrea was. We're like, give me my gun.
Yeah. He's a little, I don't know, he's just a little puss, and I'm tired of him. He's always been, I get it, he's a necessary part, you know, of the whole cast and the plot, and he drives certain things, but he annoys the piss out of me, and he's got to go at some point. And the thing is, even when Carol, you know, sort of came clean with Rick there, I still was in denial. I'm like, well, maybe she's like covering for Carl. Maybe since they had that little pact that last episode, like, just don't tell your father I teach the kids we're, you know, shooting knives and stuff like and throwing guns. Whatever. Shooting knives and throwing guns. That's what I just said. But,
that'd be sweet.
You know, so I'm like, maybe they came to some sort of pact and either they're in on it together or she's protecting him. Either way, I kind of want Carl. It was kind of a weird. I still get the hankering. There's a little more to it. I mean, wasn't it kind of a weird confession or no? She said yes, like really quick, and walked off.
It was real matter of fact. I think I don't know. Maybe we were talking about it kind of last week. Maybe Carol is meant to kind of go down the same kind of crazy town lane that Rick went down, where she's just becoming real heartless and real hardened.
But
who knows?
But the fact is that Rick understands what she did. I mean, she had to do that.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think she would have done that if it was Glenn or? Like, say, Carl, who was sick? Like, do you think she would have hesitated like that to burn the bodies, or do you think there would have been a little more compassion, or, you know?
I'm sure there'd be a little more compassion, but, I mean, the fact is, I mean, she's a hard ass now. She knows what needs to be done to save people, so.
Yeah.
And I mean, it gave it away, that whole moment. I love that, where, you know, it's that throwback Tyree standing behind her or whatever, and the whole... And she, what did he say to her? Like, you know, you're good people or something like that. Watch after my sister. You're, you know, you care for the, you know, of course that stung her.
Yeah.
And that's why she broke down and whatnot. I don't know. I want there to be a little more to it, but I guess we'll see. One thing that kind of bugged me about this episode, though, was the fact that, hey, we're going to quarantine everybody that's coughing, yet I'm going to sit there and give all you guys hugs. and things like that.
Carol?
I mean, like she's like hugging them all and doing all this stuff. And the thing is you had the little girl that said she was sick, and she's like, "Can you tuck me in?" And it's like you could tell she felt bad. Like, oh, there's some, you know, sick freak in there that's great at, you know, tucking in little girls, I hear, or whatever she said. And she gives her a hug, and she's like embracing her for like 5 million years. I'm like, if you're gonna do all that, you might as well go in and tuck her in. And it's like you're basically making out with everybody right now.
So you're basically saying Glenn is the freak.
Yeah, because she said Glenn was the best tucker in she knew.
Oh, did she say Glenn?
Yeah.
I didn't catch it. It moved so fast. I just thought I heard whatever. You know, and Glenn, that's another point. Segue we can go into is Glenn being sick. Is he going to go? I kind of want him to. You think he's going to be the result of this cure they find? Or?
Yes, they're not going to kill Glenn off.
How are they going to find a cure though, when obviously they can't even get to the hospital? Or is he just going to miraculously pull through? Because nobody who's gotten it yet has not died.
That's true.
Well, I mean, yeah, it seems to go through certain people really quick. Well, you got Herschel, Santa Claus, saving the day.
It seems like he's pretty much doomed though, after getting that big old mixture of lung butter and blood hacked all over his face.
Yeah, he's dead man walking, man.
Yeah, I mean,
do you think that's why he took off his bandit mask?
Well, he
got hacked on.
Well, he already knew going in there that the chances were he was going to get it.
Plus, I mean, how long you got to live out your golden age years in a zombie apocalypse?
well, and I just figured it was sort of signify, well, this stupid, because it didn't look like that stupid train robber mask was going to do anything. Is that really going to? It's not like it's sealed. I mean, it's totally open on the bottom. Can germs not go under and up? They're in the air. But I don't know. I just felt he thought it was stupid. But I mean, yeah, it's kind of his sacrifice to hopefully help some people, I guess. But now, We also have the squad going out trying to retrieve antibiotics, which, by the way, is it, you really think it would be something as simple as antibiotics, really, that would do the trick?
No, I don't think so. I mean, obviously, I don't know of any particular disease that, if the whole world went to hell, would make everybody bleed out of their eyes, and God only knows what other holes. Just, within a, and the thing of it is it just all of a sudden miraculously just seemed to pop up, because we've been dealing with this for 2 years now, a little more, maybe.
Yeah.
The whole kind of situation. So, I mean, that's what I'm kind of waiting to see, is where does this come from? My theory is that it's an evil corporation like Umbrella.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And somewhere in the near future, we'll meet a woman named Jill and a man named Chris, and we'll wander into a mansion, and then that'll be the beginning of Resident Evil.
Hey, well, I've kind of always said that I think way back in the beginning. It's like, there's such these little groups that come together. They're isolated from the rest of the world. The whole network is shut down. There's got to be other groups out there. Rick's not the be all end all. It's not up for them. It's not like Moses or not Moses, but like, no, it's not like an Adam and Eve type of thing. There's got to be other groups out there, and it might be like an I Am Legend type of thing where there's a big community that's way more established than they are. I mean, you gotta think that when all this went down, there were some people that were pretty well prepared for this a little better than they were off the get-go, and they kind of had a head start. Like, think of like a really
preppers.
Yeah, well, or like a military base or something.
Yeah, well, they've shown kind of some military outposts, but what do you think of that voice that they heard on the radio? Is that something that's just on a loop, or is that somebody who possibly could be broadcasting?
Did you make out what they said? I couldn't remember.
It said something. I think it said something about safety or something like that. I can't remember specifically what it said. But yeah, that was right.
I remember reading it was Sanctuary.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it was.
And that was a little tidbit that for me was kind of hard to catch. But yeah, I mean, at least to think about afterwards. But yeah, I think that was a subtle little nudge to something to come. And that whole ride, you got Tyrese there, you got Daryl there. Actually, Daryl was the only white person in that car. I'm sorry, I just noticed that. I'm like, oh, well, you put all of them together, I'm like, one of them's going to die.
You're so racist.
Dude, no. I mean, like, they're all in a car together, and then they get mobbed by that horde of zombies. I'm like, okay, this is how they're going to do it.
I know.
They're going to kill like 2 of them right now. But surprisingly, and I mean, when they showed Tyrese, get ganged up upon, which, by the way, it didn't look like he could have survived that, but I knew he did because they didn't cash in. Like, there's no way they would just totally ignore. Yeah, they're going to capitalize on somebody getting ripped apart for the show and show the guts and all that stuff, and they didn't show anything. So, I mean, I saw that when it happened, but at the same time, I was also calling BS that he made it out of there. But, I don't know.
Well, he has a lot of anger right now, so maybe, he's running on adrenaline, so.
Well,
maybe he killed like the majority of all those walkers, and they have nothing to worry about anymore.
Yeah, I don't know, but
do we think all those are going to start moving toward the prison, maybe, or?
Oh yeah, all those zombies. Oh, it's crazy. It looked like. What did they say on? I think Robert Kirkman. How many zombies was that? Like, I think Robert Kirkman went on record and said something like, might have been something like 70,000, something retarded.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know.
I don't know what it was, but what do you guys think that's going to happen there? Because obviously the pharmacy or wherever the hell they were going to go to get these antibiotics is kind of blocked up. Do you think they're going to still try and get around this, or do you think they're going to abort, or do you think someone's going to die?
And they'll find a way, but kind of backing up a little bit, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think that the whole disease is not airborne; it's through the water supply, and I think the emphasis on water with Carol, I think that has something to do with maybe she's poisoning the water supply, or she's killing off her own people, or what. But I don't think it's airborne.
That is a limb.
Maybe we should listen to Todd, though. He called last week, so you never know.
But that's pretty extreme. So you think Carol is poisoning the well there?
Well, I don't know, but she's every time you see her, she's messing around with the water.
Well, that's
the hoses and the barrels and all that stuff. So maybe that has something to do with it.
And what was the deal with her being outside of the fence? When she was doing something with the hose.
She's changing the hose, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But like, what was the deal? What was represented in that act? Because Rick's like, I thought we decided on this tomorrow. Like, why was she doing it? Why was she being so reckless? I mean,
I understand that she's supposed to be hardened and stuff like that, and they're kind of trying to show that. But I didn't understand this like direct point of her being that reckless, especially when she's supposed to be one of the smarter people in the whole camp.
I didn't know. I mean, at first I'm thinking, does she have a death wish because she's kind of, have regret and remorse for what she did, or
she's probably losing it. I don't know, like Rick, like you said, probably like Rick.
Yeah.
But like, she seems so overly protective, like teaching the children how to use weaponry and things like that and defend themselves. Why would she poison the water? It doesn't, unless she's totally a schizo now or split.
You never know.
Maybe it's like those mothers who like drown all their children in a bathtub. They just lose it, and that's what they do.
I thought there'd be a bunch of like infected rats when she kicked over like the giant barrel. I thought there'd be like some dead rats and shit in there.
It's the new plague.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a really, really big. I mean, we still don't even know where the zombie outbreak came from.
I know it's a pipe dream, but I mean, it's
Do you think that'll ever get explained though?
I do. If I had to, put my money on it, I would say that by the end of the series we would figure it out, and it would be something like you're saying. Somebody might be responsible for it. Who knows? I think they will. I don't know. I don't read the comics, so I don't know, if they go into detail in that there, but I think they will. Carol, too, this is her episode, man. Did you guys catch really briefly when she called What's-His-Nuts Pookie? What the hell was that?
Who, Norman Reedus?
Yeah, she called him Pookie when they were talking, like when he was at the beginning. She like kind of looked at him and called him Pookie. I'm like, what the hell is that?
Garfield reference?
Besides a Garfield reference, I don't know, man. I didn't think they were going to be, I don't know. It's something I caught. Maybe it's just minuscule. Maybe it's just tiny. I just caught it. Okay, well, fuck you guys.
I haven't defined that. Yeah, I don't know. For not catching Sanctuary on the radio, you sure as hell caught that. So that kind of, I don't know. I didn't.
I don't know, but I mean, let's just kind of go into our predictions, I guess. River, go ahead. It sounds like you already have a pretty good prediction, but we'll go ahead. We'll go ahead for next episode. Even if that is it, I doubt we're gonna have a big, grand revelation like that.
Yeah,
what do you think's gonna
definitely not gonna be it?
What we're looking at is what's gonna happen if Tyrese's group there with Norman Reedus and their situation, and how Rick is gonna handle Carol. Is he gonna kind of keep it on the DL for now, or what? And Herschel too. So, what's your opinions on next episode?
It'll definitely keep the Carol thing under wraps. That's the first, and then probably Rick. And I mean, I saw like previews for the next episode. Looks like they're going out and probably looking for meds and all that stuff. And I think the rest of the group that went out are probably going to be scattered around, not knowing where they're at, and it's going to take them a while. So Rick and everybody else is going to have to go out and find their own medicine. So I mean, I don't know what's going to happen this next one. Do I think they'll find an antibiotic? Yes, but I think it's going to slow down the process. I don't think it's going to treat anything, but it will slow it down. So
if it slows down the process, then why can't somebody like Glenn die?
Well, I just don't see him. It's too early for him. Glenn's a character that's going to die at the end of the season, unless they keep him around.
I know he's the second most popular behind Norman. It's like you got Andrew Lincoln, Norman Reedus, and him, and then
because I'd like to see Glenn die because I'm not a Glenn fan, but I mean that'd be fine with me. But it's not going to happen this early.
Yeah. Okay. I think you're right about. I think they're going to keep it under wraps as far as the thing between Carol and Rick doesn't seem. I don't think he seems like the guy that just goes and blabs something to spread widespread panic. I mean, he's going to keep it down. There will be some turmoil in there between him. He'll be figuring out what the hell to do. Their relationship might be affected, even though I don't know. I think that's going to happen. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to find antibiotics or not. But as far as I think somebody's got to die out of that group, and I'm still waiting to see what Bob's big revelation is because they included him in that group too. And he's got to mean something. He was obviously not killed off in all these expendable people in the first couple episodes. So there's something there with him, and I'm still waiting to see what that is.
Well, Tyrese's sister is going to be gone, I think, but I can throw that out there too.
Yeah, I would predict that. Yeah, she's fairly expendable enough. Even though they had said that she was going to play a much bigger role, like be a main player in this season. Lasting 3 episodes isn't really what I'd call a main player, but I can see her going away. Possibly Herschel. I think Herschel could get sick, or I don't know. I really, 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 really want something bad to happen to Carl. I thought Carl was going to, like, shoot Herschel for being the hall monitor. Dude, he was the hall monitor. Where are you going this late? I got to tell my dad. And I don't know, man. There's just weird unspoken tension between him and Santa, And I want there to be something to do with there. I thought he was going to pull some shit. I didn't know what it was, but I don't know. Hopefully he'll die, and hopefully that'll, he's my Andrea. So, well, Andrea was my Andrea, but he's like my Andrea times like 10 right now. So, what about you, Pat?
I think, like you kind of touched, if there will be something with Bob involved, I think with them out in the open would be kind of maybe a little tell as to maybe what the heck might be happening in that situation. Mm-hmm. I think, like with anything that they ever try to do, is not going to come easy. So them trying to get meds might last like the entire rest of the season.
So, well, then therefore everybody's going to die.
Right. I'm being facetious, of course, but just the way they drag shit out, though. But I think it will cause kind of some chaos because they're gonna have to start splitting up in numbers, and like Todd said, they're gonna be spread out. And I think that zombie horde's gonna come into play, possibly with them trying to return to the prison, and maybe the numbers have gotten larger outside the walls, and they can't, it's not as secure as they thought it would be.
Well, I also think this giant zombie horde that's coming, I think this is gonna sort of accommodate my thoughts earlier in the season. I mean, I think on our first podcast for the season, I said that I don't think they're going to last in this prison very long in the season. I think before the last episode, not even on the last episode are we going to change a setting. I think mid-season we might change a setting. Yeah. Maybe by the mid-season finale or whatever they're going to do, if they're going to split it up. But I think that's going to play a role in it. Because if you have all those guys, if they're headed in that direction, like it seems like we were getting foreshadowing with the small clumps of zombies that are around the prison. Mm-hmm. Let's say that entire just legion is all headed in that same direction. I mean, if the zombies were able to do what they did to that first fence, think about what like that times 500 can do. Mm-hmm. I mean, I could see everything getting rushed, and I don't know. So I think they're going to have to skedaddle, personally, but. And I'm still waiting for the governor to pop up. I think I don't think they just killed off his character and just wrote him off. I think they keep making subtle passes. They made a subtle pass about what was it this time? It was Norman Reedus saying something to Michonne like his trail was cold, and if it wasn't, I'd be out there with you. He said something. It's always like a quick saying, like just to keep it alive, but it's very quick.
Well, I had this thought about the governor the other day. I think they blocked off, like they're close to Atlanta still, right?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I guess
they have to be some. I think they're still in Georgia, so.
I think a lot of the cities pretty much blocked off. Maybe now towards Atlanta, and I think he's kind of running the show like Dennis Hopper was in Land of the Dead. And he lives in his own skyscraper, that sort of thing, and they have their own little community there. But
well, I mean, if he built that first community, man, I think somebody like him could build another one.
Yeah.
And there's clearly enough people out there. I thought it was funny when you first said I had a thought about the governor the other day. I was waiting for you to say in the shower. fucking his eye wound.
Oh, that was last week.
That was last week.
Yeah.
But, no, I mean, I think these are really cool predictions. And I got to say, I mean, just kind of going into the ratings, I mean, I don't usually start off the rating thing, but I will. I really like this episode a lot. I liked it a real lot, and I think we have a real consistent season so far. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think I like the first two about on par with each other, which were fantastic. What did I give those episodes? You guys remember? 7.58?
I think it was 7.58.
Yeah.
And that's it. They were pretty good, but like I felt like I have to give them an 8 just because it's like, well, I mean, if I'm going off a 10 scale, I gotta consider a 10 the greatest episode in the season. So I mean, it's still a pretty good part. I would give this episode a 9.5. I really liked it, and it was I mean, I personally wasn't expecting the whole Carol thing. River did, but I mean, not me. But I really liked the episode a lot, and it's got me really wanting to see it Sunday.
It's funny you say that because I had the same feeling. This was the first episode I was pissed off when it was over, because I wanted to see more. So,
I felt that way in the first 5 minutes. Like, man, I know this is going to be one like that. I'm going to be really pissed. Yeah, I felt the same way. Like right off the bat, I knew it was going to be like that.
I think Robert Kirkman wrote this one, but yeah, I would give it a. What did I give it last week? 9.
I think you did. You gave it higher than.
I would give it a 9. I mean,
like,
I like the, well, if there were maybe a 9.5, I liked it better than last week. I thought the story was fantastic. I mean, there wasn't, the zombie kills were cool, you know, and the big horde of zombies, which was pretty sweet. But overall, probably 9.5. I can't wait for next week, like you're saying. So,
Pat?
I'm gonna hold strong still, put it at an 8. Like you said, each week to week, I want to watch more and more. So I actually am anticipating, you know, watching it on Sundays as opposed to just kind of just like, okay, they're gonna take another 3 weeks to drag this out. Yeah. So and it's leaving a lot more open-ended stuff for, you know, like we sit here and try to predict stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm going with. I really like this season though a lot.
Your 8 might be a smart move, because I mean I might regret saying 9.5, because I only fear, like, what if they present us with an episode that's like 20 times this? It's like, how can I, like, I already gave this one 9.5.
Give it 11.
I can't do that. So it's like, so you're probably taking a better approach. But I'll stick by my 9.5 just basing it on the shows we've had thus far in the past.
Yeah, it's the best one this year.
I'm really pleasantly surprised with the pacing and, like I said, kind of how things are, you know, from episode to episode. They leave you with enough cliffhangers to, you know, want to tune in every weekend. So,
and it's not just the one cliffhanger. We got multiple. I mean, it's not just. I mean, Carol's the big one, but there's also the Glenn thing. There's also that we're left with them. You know, Daryl and everybody surrounded by a horde of zombies. There's the Herschel. I mean, there's kind of a lot of things I'm interested in all at once. So,
well, and also, and like you said, what happened to the governor? What, you know.
That's lingering on. Yeah, that's kind of in the background, and that's just it's got you thinking, like, you know, subtly. So I'm very impressed. Sounds like we all liked it very much. If you guys out there want any if you want any feedback, come to me. I'll tell you suck. No, if you guys want to leave us feedback, please do it. This will be on YouTube, of course. Go to our YouTube channel, Behind the Mask podcast, and voice your opinion there. Tell us we suck or we rule, or, you know, you want our bodies, whatever you want to do. Facebook, Behind the Mask Presents on there, and voice your opinion there. Give us a like there. Follow us on Twitter at BTM Presents, and of course, BehindTheMaskPresents.com. It's been real. I enjoyed this one. Adios.
We'll see you next
Good night,
week.
Canada.